Hi everyone, my name is Sylvia Alba and I chose Geneva Gay for my Multicultural Education Scholar Sketch. So, Geneva is currently a professor of multicultural education at the University of Washington. She was born and raised in Georgia, where she attended all-black schools growing up. She moved to Akron, Ohio to attend Akron University, where she received her bachelor's in social studies and her master's in contemporary U.S. history. This led to teaching high school social studies for a few years in Ohio. But with the help of her students, she realized she wanted to find herself and continue going to school. Geneva enrolled at the University of Texas for a PhD in education. So the main concept that is central to Geneva's work is that of culturally responsive teaching. She defines that as using the cultural knowledge, prior experiences, frames of reference, and performance styles of ethnically diverse students to make learning encounters more relevant to and effective for students. It is a means for improving achievement by teaching diverse students through their own cultural filters. So these are some of the publications belonging to Geneva from the last maybe 20 years, but she began in the 70s. So in one of her first publications, she makes a statement about effectively teaching ethnically diverse students that is representative of her initial thoughts on culturally responsive teaching. Similarities between her 1972 text and her texts from 2010 show a continuity and cohesion in her thinking, and you can also see the idea of culturally responsive teaching being refined and growing and deepening. So I have a quote from her 1972 text and one from her 2010 text, and I highlighted some of the things that I thought were similar, and if you read both of those, you can really see how her thinking grew through the years. Some of her contributions and impact on the field of multicultural ed. Geneva has made a big impact on the field of multicultural education. Through her work, she has advocated an equal educational opportunity initiative that accepts differences among ethnic groups, individuals, and cultures as normative to the human condition and valuable to societal and personal development. Culturally responsive teaching foregrounds the positive learning possibilities of marginalized students and their heritage groups instead of going on about their problems. Before, teaching was a subtext to curriculum. With culturally responsive teaching, the central focus is teaching with curriculum content as one of its components. This way of teaching has the potential to improve multiple kinds of achievement that are beneficial for many different students. I added this quote to the slide because it reminded me that when we're talking about and using students' cultural backgrounds for teaching, we want to be positive for the most part. So I wanted to read this quote. Culturally responsive teaching requires replacing pathological and deficient perceptions of students and communities of color with more positive ones. While the problems and challenges these populations face in society and schools must be addressed, they should not be the only emphasis. Educational innovations motivated by and framed only in negativism do not generate constructive and sustainable achievement transformations for ethnically and culturally diverse students. So this brings me to how Geneva has impacted my teaching philosophy. In one of her publications, Geneva asks teachers to critique their own beliefs about culturally diverse students. So these are 3 of the questions that she asks teachers to reflect on. My philosophy of teaching has always been centered on discovery and hands-on learning and being aware of each student's learning styles, interests, and abilities. And after learning about Geneva Gay and culturally responsive teaching, my philosophy now includes positive attitudes about ethnic, racial, and gender differences, and bringing in the cultural knowledge of ethnically diverse students into our daily routine. And here's some of my references, and thank you for listening.